Well, there's no way to avoid
Did those turn off? Oh boy. Live stream.
the pun. It is the finale of finale. Or if you prefer, it's the coda to finale, given that Coda Music was the original creator of Finale. Finale has been a flagship music notation software program ever since the early
Voila. Okay. So that should be up higher. Put this over here. Let's turn this down a little bit. So this, what we're listening to, everybody, is let's see, I can turn that off. This is the this channel called Play Accordion, Game Music and Accordion that I just found today while I was looking for stuff for the stream. And this is great because this scratches like when I played video games when I was a kid, born in 1982, so like, you know, late 80s and 90s. It's my like, this is a Nintendo game, and we played Castlevania 3 like so much. Castlevania 2, Castlevania 3, like so much. It was a very hundreds of hours, I would say. So that scratches my elder millennial itch here. And I'm still getting set up for the stream a little bit. I was thinking like I could plug in the accordion, but then I remembered that I don't have a 1/4-inch cable to plug in the accordion. So you guys could hear the left hand. And so last minute, I'm just gonna run this other microphone, which I'll set up as we're listening to stuff. Hey, Bertie Wooster, how you doing? I was hoping I would see you today, as every day, every Tuesday. Yeah, that's great. And I think I fixed the links last week. I do have an email that you can sign up for to get like little updates and stuff. Let's see. I need to move this over here so I'm looking straight at the camera. There we go, guys. All right. Yeah. So we got some forest fires happening. Really a big one. Let's see. I'll show you. We'll go to Cal Fire. California has this wonderful thing called Cal Fire. And they show you, look at all these fires going on right now in California. That's a lot of fires. Pretty freaky. And like growing up here in the desert, it's just, you know, there's like PTSD and stuff. I remember as a kid in, I think elementary school, maybe it was junior high, early junior high. I forget which one, but definitely had to evacuate. And then that happened at least 2 more times. And there's one time when it was really, really close to this town. So I hope that's not the case. This is, show you guys Cal Fire. Go in. This one's called the Line Fire. So like, let's see. This one, so see Yucca Valley. Can you see it? Let's see. Here we go. Morongo Valley. That's where I am right here in this little town. Right here. That's me. Well, that looks like a fire. But that's not on fire, so that's good. Maybe that was on fire, but not currently on fire, thank God. And then over here, about an hour away by freeway, is this big fire called the Line Fire that is only 5% contained, which is not what we like to see, folks. I think they said they found it on Thursday, and then just trying to get it. The governor has made it a state of emergency to try to get funding. Get a whole bunch more people in here to fight it. There's like a wonderful like vacation community up here in the mountains called Big Bear. And it looks like it's headed up that way. So they've got the people in Big Bear on guard to evacuate potentially. Let me turn this light on. There, a little bit more light. Yeah, and it's just stressful, and it's blown in, so it's now super smoky. You can taste it. It makes my skin itchy. Makes me feel not good. So it's really a drag, and also just ruins the beauty of the desert. It's too bad. Anyways, just complain about it. It came in. What did it come in? Like yesterday evening, I think the smoke rolled in, and I'm guessing it's going to be here for weeks. Is my guess. I don't know. Hopefully not. Maybe they'll just like bang this out, but I don't know. Seems like a pretty big fire. And if they only have it 5% contained, it's not a good sign. Anyway, so let's see. What else? Let me go to my playlist for today. I can hit play on that. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about finale, which probably a lot of you already know about. But we'll talk about that. Let's see what I have here. Let's kind of vibe on this while I set up the microphone. This is Marian Mexicano. Sounds really soft to me. That's good there. There we go. Okay, that's better. Now what's going on over here? Yeah. Is this just really soft, you guys? I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my audio. Let's see. Cool. Yeah, Felix wants to do the Gypsy Swing courses. I do have them up. Let me just, that's a great motivation for me. So the content's up there. I just got to kind of set up the paywall and stuff. Felix, why don't you send me an email, Dallas@Rising Reed, and I'll follow up with you, and I'll tell you how you can access those Gypsy Jazz classes. Hey Nomad Farmer, it's great to see you again. And I love that you got the emote. And then Hey Duck Brook also. But somebody out there, tell me if you can hear this music, because it seems like it's really soft. Cool. All right, other people. Music actually a bit louder than me. Okay, cool. So I just got to turn up my speaker here. There we go. So we're checking out somebody's wedding, and this is Marian Mexicanu in Romania. Thanks, Bill. B-Jart. Change it, modulating to a new tune. All right, moving to a new tune, which is cool. It's just so fun to watch. We're watching their gigs, right? Which are uploaded for promotional purposes to book more weddings and stuff. But it's so cool. We get the slice of life, beautiful, people enjoying their marriage ceremony, and just get to see the musicians doing their thing. It's very cool. The sound is always so good. It's always like perfect. Cool. So let's see. Let me test out this mic. So I'll talk a little bit about mics right now. So this is what's called a small diaphragm condenser microphone. This one happens to be made by a company called Gefell, and I believe it's called an M500 is the model. And I have two of them that I normally would use if I was recording the accordion. They're called a pair, and I'm not exactly sure what that means. Maybe somebody in the chat, BGR, or some other people know. Like it's a little bit different. So when you buy a set of two that are paired, there's somehow they're like guaranteed to be working well with each other, as opposed to just buying two individual ones off the shelf. And this is my favorite sound for the accordion so far. And it gives a very, very true sound, and it gives a very, I guess that's what I like about it. I prefer that sound. It's really, based on what you like. I noticed the bandoneon players use a large diaphragm condenser mic. Like this one that I'm pointing to, the one that's in the blue holder, is a large diaphragm condenser mic. And this one above me that I'm pointing to is a small diaphragm condenser mic. The diaphragm is the part that moves. So this one has a small one, this one has a large one. And I noticed that the bandoneon videos, a lot of times when they're in the recording studio and it sounds great, they're using a large diaphragm, and I don't know why. But yeah, so my favorite is the Neumann KM184, I believe it's called. And that's a model of microphone and a stereo pair of those. I don't have those. Those are, I don't know, it depends, maybe $1,000 for the pair. But those are like will last your lifetime. And this is somebody gave me this very generously, gifted this to me, and these pair, and they're very, very similar to the Neumanns. So just to talk about that, because I think it's interesting. There are all kinds of people, like my friend Frank Petrilli, who tries a lot of different gear. He's really into, I think, ribbon microphone now, I believe. Yeah. It's a lot warmer sound than the condenser mic. Condenser mic is very, very crystal clear and can be a lot brighter, more brilliant, I would say. Let me check out the chat. Nomad Farmer says, while we're talking mics, any recommendations for an upcoming show where my band is recording a live album? The sound guy has shared a preference for pickups on other instruments to minimize cross-channel bleed, but I don't have anything for my accordion, which isn't on many songs. You know what I would suggest? I would suggest a microphone where the pattern is pretty small and focused. Let's see if I can pull something up here. Like a SM57. So I have a lot of experience using an SM57, which is not a condenser mic. So condenser mics require power, phantom power. And so they pick up a lot more frequencies, but they're also more prone to feedback. So a lot of times it's just easier to use not a condenser, just a regular cardioid microphone on stage. So let's see. So this is an SM57. This would be like sort of the budget thing to go for. It's not gonna, the quality is not as great as a condenser mic. So like the fidelity, I suppose, the frequency range and all that. But the benefit of these two microphones right here, the ones that are highlighted, you have the 57 on the left side and the 58 on the right side, and those are like the everyday working person's microphones. Those are like the most common. They've been around for decades and decades. That you can't really improve on them so far for what they do. They're great. They take a little beating. They're not that expensive. They're really cheap, actually, relative. They're great quality, and just everybody knows them. So the one that looks like an ice cream cone, it is captures a wider area of sound, and very often you see that used for vocals. And I would suggest the one on the left, and that's called the SM58, the ice cream cone looking one. And the one that looks like more like a cigar shape is the 57, and that is much more directional. So you can point that at your accordion and go there. And what I would say too is there's a great video to check out that actually Frank turned me on to. It's a David Lang video. Let me pull it up here. David Lang is an accordion player up in the Washington state, and he plays with Pearl Django, that Django band, and he's also a recording engineer and has his own studio and stuff. And this video right here, recording the accordion, he talks about microphone placement, which is really, really important. And he talks about how where you want to have the microphone for the accordion. It's kind of hard to show in a video. You should just watch that. But I'll let me grab this. And I don't do everything that David does because his bass side is a little different than I like, and even his sound, so it's like, what if you're doing studio work, and this isn't answering Nomad Farmer, but like when you're considering miking yourself and you have skills, or you have somebody that you're paying that has skills, you want a reference recording or multiple reference recordings of accordions that you like the way they sound, Is this here? Just making sure. Yeah, okay. So you want reference recordings, and then giving it to the engineer, they can hopefully understand what how to get that sound, or you can try stuff until you mimic that sound. So, like, for example, I guess I just bring that up because the sound of David Lang's bass side, the sound that he likes for that is different than the sound that I would want for my bass side. We differ there. But so he has a bunch of microphones going on. He has two, they look like small diaphragm condenser microphones on the right-hand side. And he has them pointed to, like, the crease of the accordion, and I'll show you right here. So this microphone I wouldn't use if I was making a recording. I use it every day, for teaching and doing the live stream and stuff. But it's an AT 2020. I bought it from a friend who bought it and then realized he wanted a USB version of the microphone. So it just works. But it's about, right now it's about a little over a foot away. And I want to point it so that it's like, again, this is hard to show you. It's hard to show depth in the live stream here. But I want sort of the center of the cardioid pattern where it's picking up to be at the seam between the keyboard and the grill of the accordion. And that seems to work well. And then kind of backing it up as far as arm's length maybe is the farthest away. And then you want to balance, if you get it too close, then you hear too much of the mechanical sounds, the clapping and tap, all that kind of stuff. And if you get it too far away, then you hear too much reflection from the room, which we don't want either. So you want like zero room reflection, usually, unless you're like recording in a church because you want the reflection of the room, right? So say. But usually that's what we're trying to minimize, and that's usually what makes a recording sound amateur, is that the reflection from the room is so much, the sound being reflected off, that we hear that and not the accordion. And that's the problem with the phone. So when I make a video with my phone on the accordion, the phone has to be a fair ways away from me to capture me and the accordion. But the microphone is attached to the phone as well. So that means that the microphone is far away. So the microphone isn't picking up really very much direct sound from the accordion, or it's picking up some, but it's also picking up a lot of reflected sound, which doesn't sound good. We really prefer to hear direct sound, which is why the best recordings that we can get, especially if we're making video, we need to have the microphones close to us and the camera farther away, right? and that's a pain. You got to have some gear and the setup and all this other kind of stuff. And I have a wonderful concept for a course that if I ever can get my life together, I'm going to set up this recording course because it would help all of us. But yeah, okay, so here. Let me get this going then. I got to turn on the phantom power for this channel 2 here. Let's see, I'm going to have to put on the headphones. Turn on the phantom power. There we go. You guys should hear a little pop. Let's see. Oh yeah, and I won't even hear it actually because, let's see, turn this. I hope I don't get feedback. Let's see. Do 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 do. Okay, on this one here. Move that over here. Help me out. Do you hear the left hand coming through that microphone, guys? It looks like it. And if I tap it, okay, you hear it. So let's see. Gotta get all the what do you call it? Oh, I know, because the gains, you hear it from the other thing. It's because there's no gain. Okay, there we go. Now we should start to hear it. Put that to there, that to there. Still nothing though. Why not? Oh, good. Well, it would help if it was plugged into the back of the audio interface. Haha. There we go. Okay. Now. There we go. There we go. Now, I believe you should all hear that. Somebody tell me if you do or do not hear that. And then I don't need that coming through the headphones anymore. So this is a wonderful just talking recording. So I got to get further away from the microphone so you guys can see both hands. I got to get them set up. I had bought, what was it, earlier this year or last year? I just bought 2 boom arms, which is great because I can put them away. And I was just the regular microphone stands that sit on your floor take up so much room. And then you got to like either work around it or trip around it. It messes up the feng shui. Or you have to tear it down and put it away and set it up and all that kind of stuff. Whereas this way, you can just kind of fold them up, and it's great. So let's see. I'm gonna talk about 12 keys stuff. So this week, the new tune that I am working on is "Pennies from Heaven." Let's see. You guys are gonna need even more. Let me push the table back. Okay, there. That's better. Bring the arms forward more. Good. And here? Okay, good. So, is that too loud? Looks like it might be too loud. It is. Take this down a little bit. Here. I'm working on this stuff. Awesome. There. Shoo, and this other part is shooby dooby. I don't know if you guys. I think that's from the Louis Prima version. Shooby dooby. So, what I started doing for Pennies from Heaven. Okay, thank you, Birdie. Can't hear the left hand at all. All right, good. Let me fix this. Sorry, guys. All right, so this has got to come up there. Birdie, I'm gonna rely on you here to help me out, and let me know when it's coming through there. And that should be there. That's there. That's there. How about now, Birdie? Do you hear it? I'm also gonna turn off the chat so you can see the left hand better. Those are both doing that. It should. Yes. It's quiet. Well, let me turn up the gain a little. And then over here. This is really dumb to do in the middle of this. Middle of the stream. Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. Shooby dooby, don't you know every cloud contains pennies from heaven? Shooby dooby doo, you'll find your fortune falling all over town. Be sure that your umbrella is upside down. Trade them for a package of sunshine and flowers. Shooby dooby doo. If you want the things you love, you must have showers. So when you hear it thundering, don't go under a tree. There'll be pennies from heaven for you and me. Okay, so in my little flow, this is sort of referencing, I'm going to leave stuff out. In the beginning of last week's, I sort of talked about my flow and some of these things. So I'm going to rely on some of that. In my flow, the first thing that I'm doing on the tunes that I'm working on is playing the left hand and singing the melody in the key that I'm in. In this case, I'm starting in the key of C, and I'm going to go up in half steps. And I've already done this today, although I didn't get very far because I added a lot of stuff to it. And then from there, then I'll do other stuff. So then I'll play the melody. And in this case, for the melody, I'm really trying to work on these cool block chords. In all the 12 keys, especially just that. Like that's enough. If I tried to work on an entire arrangement and exactly the same block chords for all of it, it would bog me down. So my philosophy is just try to do less, just a little bit of it. Like in this case, it's just that first 4 bars and then it repeats. And then I'm like, okay, then just keep playing through the tune and grab grab whatever chords kind of fit in my hand. And fortunately, I've been able to replicate that. But the learning comes from being able to do the same thing, you know? So in this case, I'm taking this exact arrangement. And I just made this up. Well, that dropping, I should go there. That's it. And to work on that, like that's hard, so I'll just go shooby dooby. Maybe just that much. maybe just that. So. And then here, I won't worry too much about, like I don't have, after that part of the melody, I don't have a very specific chordal thing that I'm trying to do in all the 12 keys. So if I can't do anything fancy, then I'll just play the melody, without really embellishments or chords. Now I can actually, I've been doing this enough and getting better, so. Let's see. This voicing. I love this one. Forced. Let's see, to the 2. I like that. It's a little hard to go back down. And then sing it again. And then I'll play some chords. Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. Shooby-dooby-doo. Don't you know every cloud contains pennies from heaven? Shooby-dooby-doo. You'll find your fortune falling all over town. Be sure, and you get the idea. And then after that, so I've sang the melody with just the left hand. I played the melody in the right hand, and this time it's more complex than what I showed you guys last week. And it's just like where I'm at with it, you know. And then I'll improvise. And now I'm just really working on trying to get lining up the time between my two hands, because really, this is way harder than I would have thought. And then I'll sing it out same way with chords, and every time. Well, then actually I'll play the melody again. Just trying to get a lot of practice on that. And then after that, I move up to the next key. So in D flat, let's see how this goes. And this has been fun because I'm playing, checking out the higher sound and the lower sound. Great. That's cool. Thanks, Birdie. Yeah. In watching the video a little bit from last week, I realized it wasn't picking up the left hand, and you really lose so much by not having a left hand here. And so I do exactly the same left hand pattern. Now I'm able to spontaneously add some substitutions and extra 2/5s and stuff. And so I let myself do that. But also if there's certain arrangement things, I'm like, that's cool. I want to do that in all 12 keys. I try to do that. Hey, Courtney. Awesome. And I find that the stronger I get with the closed position block chords, then these bigger position block chords and stuff come along easier too. But the number one thing I'm trying to do is just be patient with myself, over time. And it's successful because I'm not freaking out and being like, oh my God, I have to do all this in one day. I have to make up for all my bad practice from the rest of earlier in my life. Anyone else ever have that idea? Okay, so in D flat now we got to go a much harder key. So I got to work out these block chords. That's the hardest thing for me in this tune. Now what am I doing? And then the shooby dooby. That's hard. And here. And then the next part I can play anything. So pa-poo-dum. Here. Shooby-dooby. Cool. So now we try it with the left hand, which makes it a lot harder. Do that to just remember it. Sorry. Ba-da-dum. That's it. This is really cool, boys. Really hard. It's not hard. It's just hard for me to remember. I love that sound. On the 4. Now sing it. Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. Shooby-dooby-doo. Don't you know every cloud contains pennies from heaven? Shooby-doo. You'll find your fortune fallen all over town. Be sure that your umbrella is upside down. Trade them for a package of sunshine and flowers. If If you want the things you love, you must have showers. So when you hear it thundering, don't go under a tree. It's 'cause there'll be plenty pennies from heaven for you and me. And now I improvise. And I'm just trying to work on my time, really, so I'm picking really, really simple stuff. And I'm hoping, like, my little discovery, it's like, man, I'm not feeling confident in my lines when I start improvising. And you know how we're always, like, diagnosing what we're doing? Oh, I'm working on this tune. Today, what's the latest thing that I see, you know? And can I sort of keep track of where I started, like, so I'm not reinventing the wheel every time I work on this tune. But, like, for me, I'm like, oh, man, I think it's just, like, I want to not focus on, like, complex lines or patterns or stuff like that or any conceptual thing. Just really try to get the bebop idea of playing a chord tone on the downbeat, so either the 3rd or the 7th or the 6th, right with the bass playing. Playing wrong chords. To the 3rd, to the 7th. To the root. To the B7. And then back to the melody again. So. Oh, I'm all off. Too fine. That's that voicing. Oh, because that. Now I'll go to the next key a half step up, which is way easier for me than D flat. It's D. And so what I do is I sing it. Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. And you guys don't need to hear me sing that again, so I won't. So I'll go right to the right hand part, which is hard. And that's the one I got to work out. So there I would just stop and go, work it out. And then I'm trying to do, let's see, what's the voicing? Drop something. That's right. So it's like a root position E minor. Because the melody that I'm harmonizing is shooby-dooby. So like a little, it's something in the swing area. That's what you would do. You'd sing that in the little fills. And so harmonizing it with a diminished D, and then a regular D major 6, and then E minor 7, which is the 2 chord, and then an A7 with a flat 9 on it. Those open voicings sound so good. And then really I want to resolve that to there, which is a D major 6. They call that drop 2 is the name for that kind of voicing. It's because the second voice from the top is dropped down. I don't want to go into that, but let's see. So, and I'll do it with in time. Where is it? Ba ba da da do. And then improvise. Anyway, and then again, and then I sing it, sing it out. So that's kind of the process. And I suppose what's new this week is just adding. The new thing that I'm doing is like I'm getting good enough that I can do the same arrangement in 12 keys in the right hand with this chordal. The voicings, how I'm harmonizing under the melody, as I'm trying to do it exactly the same, and it works, man. That's why I'm sharing this with you guys, is because it really, really works. And this level of stuff might be too much for you to start on or even engage with. So I wanted to take other simpler melodies and just show you how you might do that, because this is really like this, and then just being creative on stuff. Finding ways to practice creativity are like fundamental, I think, to making a really cool way of playing. So if I was to just kind of before applying 12 keys to another thing, I would say add to your work, your practice, where you're taking the same melody, maybe. Like, let's take a really stupid melody. That's the melody. Let's say I'm playing. Why don't we try playing around with a couple different accompaniment things and changing them as we're going, right? So this is crucial. So to start doing this, you have to like plan it and get the nervous system to do it. So if I just say I'm going to go between this, which we'll call like an oompa thing, and then maybe I'll play like that. So those are my two different patterns, and I'll free myself up from having to get the nervous system, the right hand going. I'll just sing the melody. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, la la dee da dum, and do that through the whole thing. And then when I repeat it, I'll play dee da dee da dum, da dum dee dum dee dee dum, da da dee 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 do, da da dum dee da do do dum, do dum dee da da dee. Da da dee da dum. Mess the chords up, but trying to show you that like you want to make like a little etude, like the same way, simple with your melody, very strict. Your body has to practice doing that, and then so with the oompa, then you do the same thing again with another sort of pattern. For me, it's like it was just the melody first for Pennies from Heaven. I had to start there. That was sort of my first thing. And then after that, I was like, man, okay, let me start with some of these block chords. And I had to work it out and sort of think about it. But that's the second thing to do. So that's where I'm in right now, is getting that under my hands. And I know that by doing that in 12 keys, it's going to make it so much easier for everything else. It's like you really... And when you take a tune and you work it in 12 keys, you're getting so much more growth out of it that applies to all the future music that you do. And especially when you're playing in a way that's like you're not just reading music on a page, you're creating it from your head. Then that makes all the things that you can sort of say, like a language, on Pennies from Heaven in 12 keys, the similar songs, you're really close to being able to do it there. So just finding ways to be creative with it. So then if I played it, right, you get it. That's like a very watered down idea. So I practice one way, I practice the other way, two different patterns or concepts, and then I try to switch. And maybe if it's hard to switch intuitively, then maybe I set it up. So I'll say, all right, I'm going to switch every sort of 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, switch. Something like that. Charlie says I'm frozen. It looks like my upload speed is fine here. Am I frozen for anybody else, guys? And Charlie, what platform are you on? Because I noticed I stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And sometimes one of those platforms is weird while the other two are okay. Some buffering issues. It's on Twitch. Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, Charlie, I see that you're on YouTube. Dang. Because my upload looks great here, guys. Sorry. Well, so that's like for that. And to make it more jazzy, so let's say the first way I'm playing in left hand. Let's apply the same idea for creativity. So what you want to do is you want to sort of work something out, an idea, then practice it, changing it deliberately, and then practice changing it intuitively. And by doing that, you are developing this idea of being able to creatively switch. So let's say that I was going to put some thirds harmony, just to keep it real simple. We have to go to the fourth. So I have two different ways. I have the melody without a harmony. And I practice that through the whole thing. And then I practice my other thing with the thirds as a little etude. I have to be able to do that first. Let's see. Okay, once I can do it both ways solidly, and probably in 12 keys first, so then I go to another key. Maybe I go to G and do that in G, whatever. Even that much is so helpful. But that sort of builds the nervous system. It just builds you really quickly. It's hard work. It takes a lot of concentration. It gets way easier. The beginning is the hardest, and the information skills really build. but it just really, really, really gives you the skills and ability to be creative and just create stuff. You'll find all your ideas. All of us have all these ideas up here because we're sponges. We've all been listening to all this beautiful music. We're passionate about music, so it's all up in our heads. And once we kind of can just sort of have the skills to do stuff, the ideas start coming out, really great. So 2 sort of ways of working. Take it through 12 keys, of course, which I'll show you in a second, but also create little like arrangement ideas and then switch between them. So the first step is doing it one way, like an etude, and another way like an etude, then a deliberate switch. So if I said, I'm going to change every 2 bars. Now switch. Now back to single notes. Now switch. I'm back. Now switch. Okay, like that. Now I'm just going to try to intuitively switch. And this is the super important part. This is where you're actually practicing the mechanism of like doing it spontaneously, and you have to practice this. If you don't practice it, you will never be able to do it. This is a method. So now I'm just going to try to switch intuitively. It's here. I'll say there. Switch and stay there. Switch. Stay there. Switch. 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 And I'm only saying switch so you can all understand like what I'm doing. So I'm trying to get myself to, in the moment, to switch between these 2 things that my body can already do, right? But my body hasn't practiced the being able to just go from one to another, What I believe is that these things are patterns that we're into. So it's like once the body, you teach your body a pattern of a melody, say, and then the body learns how to do that, like the melody. And the body, the nervous system, when I say the body, I mean the nervous system. The nervous system thinks of the whole pattern. The nervous system really doesn't think of like each note like that, unless you work on it like that or unless you ask it to. So if I say I have this whole pattern, which is maybe the whole melody just with single notes, like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but then I want to like start to add some chords or something to it. It's like, okay, well, let's get a strategy for that first. And then once I can sort of do it as a little deliberate thing, then I definitely want to try and do it intuitively. Make my adding that or changing between my approaches intuitive. So meaning in the moment, improvised. So for like a tune like Pennies from Heaven, on that tune, I think my first step, as it is on other tunes that I'm working on, is just like, which is what I noticed Frank Morocco doing. A lot of times when Frank Morocco plays a melody with chords, he doesn't put chords on everything. He just puts it on so some of them are single notes and some of them are chords. Or he adds chords underneath. So I was like, okay, well, maybe after I've got just the melody. So that's a phrase. Maybe I'll just try to pick one note and put a chord on it. Something, and just see where my hand goes. Right? So see how I'm just putting a chord here, and then the rest are single notes. And chord. And there I'm on the way. I'm on the way to it. And also, I'm practicing that really, really important skill that we have to work on, which is just, can I do this spontaneously? So you make it doable, something really, really simple, just one chord, and I don't even care what voicing, just like some kind of notes that are part of the chord. I wouldn't accept if I played all the wrong notes or too many wrong notes. I'm definitely looking for right notes, but not trying to plan it out too much as a building step. And then once I can kind of get that in time and with the left hand, then it just starts getting more complex. And that's where I've gotten to the point where I showed you guys, a few minutes ago, what I'm working on with the whole arrangement thing through 12 keys. And that's going to take a while. I hope next week I can show you, and it's maybe a little faster and more settled. But it's okay. We just got to be patient. So those are sort of like the two things. The other thing I would say, like, is just to talk about the other part of the two things. So one thing is just like the idea of how do we be creative? What is the creative process? And the creative process for us is to create variation in our song to be able to change it up. So can I take a song? Could I play it? Could I play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star in 3/4 time? Let's see. Can I play Indifference, a musette waltz, in 4/4 time? I'd have to work it out a little bit more. Let's see. Let's see. Right? Okay, cool. So it's all these things of like taking the same thing and making a variation on it and then being able to switch between your things. That is like the fundamental part of, I think, what we're trying to do, which is all this music that's not just learning something on a page. And even if it isn't, it's music that's not just set. Music where we want to be able to change things in the moment on the fly, And so like the most core part of that is just being able to make a variation. On the accordion, I think it's a wonderful place to start is just with your left hand part. So if I was taking, if I was taking a song like Indifference, which is a much more advanced song than Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but even if I didn't, that's like pretty complex to take something in 3/4 time and make it 4. You got to add some extra bars and stuff. But even just to change the bass pattern and to make a new bass pattern, so instead of or maybe it's long, 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. And then at a certain point, I'll kick it into the 3/4 time. Right? So even stuff like that is like, it helps everything. By working on that, like say you had a musette like Indifference that you're working on, like, man, I'm always making mistakes and I don't, it's the whole thing is like, I always, I can't get past the 8th bar without hitting a clam or losing my spot. I'm really making slow progress on this challenging tune. By changing things like this, you create a different awareness for yourself. It like frees it up, and it comes from another part of your brain that's more deliberate and creative. So instead of like speaking the lines of a school play or a speech that you've memorized, you're just speaking. You're speaking from your heart, and you're using phrases that we all know. That's how language works. Like, I'm not saying any new words you have never heard before in your life, and really I'm not putting them together in any brand new ways that you haven't heard before, but I am expressing myself just like me. It doesn't sound, contrived or derived, because I have command of the language. So do all of us, and it's the same with music. Okay. So my suggestion for those of you who want to pursue this is continue to find ways to create variations in the music. Like, whatever song you're working on, come up with ways to vary it. And like, I think a good artistic rule of thumb, a general like principle for artistry of music and anything that happens in time, like dance, theater, that sort of stuff, is never play something the same way twice. So in a musette waltz, for example, we hear that A section melody 3 times. After we've heard it the first time, play it differently somehow the second time that we hear it, and play it differently somehow the third time that we hear it. Create these variations is my suggestion. As far as taking stuff through 12 keys, a place you might want to start is just with the left hand. You might want to do just some like really basic, remedial skill of like, I'm just going to play the first 3 notes of the scale up and down in 12 keys. I'm going to see how long it takes me. Maybe I can do it in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Just the first 3 notes. If you try to do the whole scale, you're going to get bogged down and you're never going to finish it. So just pick the first 3 notes. Make sure you got the right fingering. Maybe like that or together. Get the left hand going. Okay, I did it. Now I'm going to go up a half step. What's that? That's D flat. Okay, up a half step again. And so on and so forth through 12 keys. And be patient and make it grow over time. So you say, okay, after I get 3 notes up and down, smooth in my left hand, you're going to discover so much stuff by the left hand moving, by you like playing in different keys and your left hand being in different places of the accordion. It's really going to like connect all this stuff. But after you got 3 notes, maybe that takes you 5 days or a week or however long it takes, then expand it up to 5 notes. And then up to D flat. What's the next key? D. Right, you'll start to get familiar, and then after you've got 5 notes, then you expand out to the final 2 notes, and you've got the whole scale. Pause and relax. Go to the next key. Pause and relax. Go to the next key. Because what you're doing is you're tying the tonality that's being played in the left hand, the chord, to the notes of the scale that fit the chord, and that's really, really deep to do both at the same time. And for that reason, I wouldn't suggest that you really treat this like a scale exercise. Is it a scale exercise? Yes. But it's a scale exercise for the purposes of understanding the fabric of all the 12 keys. Like, oh, when I get to G flat, that's right, I got to start with my second finger, and this is the fingering that I like, and oh, it's weird, it's up here or down there, which one I'm going to choose, and you're going to have to make a decision, and you're going to, oh, that's where G flat is, or F sharp, however you consider it. So for that reason, the work, just make sure that you're working on it in a way that it's like designed to support creativity and making up your own songs, and not like this isn't like just a technique exercise, And so for that reason, I would say it's going to slow you down too much to try to do. Right? And also, like, unless you plan on working on your melodies at the same time, which I wouldn't suggest from going from 0 work in 12 keys to like playing melodies in your left hand. That's too crazy. Be really simple. Give yourself just the scale, and then simple nursery rhymes. I promise you're going to feel greater success, and you will learn a lot deeper and a lot faster, because you think that Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is easy, but go ahead and just try to bust it out in F sharp and then G and then A flat and A, and see how quickly, it's not easy if you haven't done the work. So we want to start with really, really simple things that you can control, and you feel like you're in control of it, So that's how I would suggest for working on 12 keys. And then people with like theory knowledge, that already have theory knowledge, it should even grow faster. So once you're familiar with the keys and simple melodies, it should be a lot easier for you to take more complex melodies and put them into 12 keys. Yeah, cool. So that will conclude this segment. How about that? Give me 1 second to take this off. The key of G flat is a key that I found, in fact, for Pennies from Heaven, I found that I have to play the key of G flat down towards my lap, which I didn't think so. When I was doing Louisiana Fairy Tale, when I got to that key, I would play it up as F sharp. But I find that it doesn't, I forget what's the thing. I think because I do a walk down from the 3 or something like that. There's something like where I need the counter bass a half step below the 3 chord, which you can't get on the Stradella if you're playing it up at the top. I still haven't played the lowest row. I've played the top row on the 120 bass, which is B flat, but I haven't played the lowest row yet. Haven't gotten down there. Cool. Okay. What's the other updates in my life? Well, let's see. Couple things. Open this up. I want to help promote this awesome thing that I do called there's two ATG events that I want to promote. So let's go here. So they're both coming up, and any accordion educators out there, please come to this Teach Talk. I'm kind of the major force behind it, but it's with the committee. Michael Bridge is the chair of this committee, and it's just designed for accordion educators to get together every 2 months on Zoom. There's just like a theme that I make just to start conversations, and then the idea is to talk about, like, sort of a gently provocative conversation-inducing topic. And then we break into small groups and we meet each other. So you get to meet more people in the accordion community, accordion educator community, and then share our approaches. And if there's any puzzles or problems, the last one we did was at the ATG festival, which is live, very cool. But all the other ones have been online. And this one is, the theme of this one is building technique and good practice skills in students. So it's just like, as a teacher, it's like, well, how do I help my students practice well? Do I think of that? Like, are they trying to get to 30 minutes a day or what? How do we do that? And for what students? A beginning student, someone that's experienced, and also like building technique. I think Michael Bridge came up with this topic. So it's gonna be fun. And then you can find like the little what we do here. So if you are a working accordion educator in any way, shape, or form, but I want to make sure that you're currently working now and teaching, please feel free to join us. There's that's the only thing we ask, just so that like everybody's, we're all part of the same community, like doing it together. If you have taught and you're not teaching now and don't intend to teach in the upcoming future, that's not for you, but any level of teaching. Nomad Farmer says self-taught teacher. Yeah, absolutely, man. My vision for this thing is like it is it's not vertical. Like, we accept all of the all approaches. I didn't want something that was hierarchical, like this is the best way to teach accordion, because I've had those moments in my life, especially like the new adopter of somebody's system, some European person I've met that seems really amazing. This is the new way to do it. It can only be done. And then after a few months, I'm like, well, okay, that's great, and that gets added to my library of stuff, and my teaching style is based on my life and my musical approaches and all that kind of stuff, and your teaching style is based on yours, and I'm not sure we could say one of us is better than the other. It's just, do we connect with our students, and exactly what do we teach? So that's the vibe. The other thing which I saw is really cool is this one. This isn't going to open up, is it? Yeah, here we go. So I'm trying to get the description for this upcoming Wednesday workshop. You have to be a member to do it, but this one that's coming up tomorrow evening is with Beatrice Makda, and Beatrice studied accordion repair. Beatrice is some sort of engineer. I want to say like an electrical engineer or mechanical engineer. I don't recall from the email. I was hoping I'd be able to read it off the description, but and also an accordion player, and also Beatrice went to an accordion like repair workshop. I want to say in Chile. Let me just give me a moment to pull up so I'm not saying wrong things. But it seems really cool, and if I can catch it tomorrow, I'm gonna try. Yeah. Okay, so I'll just read this. Read the description to you. So Beatrice Makda will be presenting this workshop. Let's see. We'll dive into various technical aspects of the accordion. How does the accordion work? internal components and stuff, the variations that exist mechanically, and Chile. So Beatrice began learning accordion repair in 2022 from the Instituto Chileno del Accordion, the Chilean Institute of Accordion, under her teacher Sebastian Bravo, and she's a mechanical engineer. Very cool. So it seems like a really neat workshop to go to. So I wanted to tell you guys about that. In order to go to them, you have to be a member of the ATG. I forget what it is. It's under $100 for the year, I think. I'm a member. And I like them. And they do, is it every 2 weeks? I think they do something, a Wednesday workshop of like varying topics. Yeah. So those two are coming up. Cool. Let's see what else. That's about it. Let's go to go to the chat. Okay, what did I miss? Nothing. No, it's good. Nomad Farmer, just reading the chat. I can turn this back on now. Says, just stuff about teaching. It's cool. All right, great. So let's listen to some more music now, shall we? Back to my playlist. I know. Okay. Yeah, we'll do music and then we'll talk about a couple things like finale closing down and all this kind of stuff. Here's a little palette cleanser. This is an old song. There's a hip hop artist called MF Doom who goes by a lot of different names, Mad Villain, Madlib stuff. Anyways, this is a short track called Accordion.
Living off borrowed time, the clock tick faster. That'll be the hour they knock the slick blaster. Dick Dastardly and Muttley with sick laughter. A gunfight and they come to cut the mix master. ICE Cole, nice to be old. Y2G Steve twice to threefold. He sold scrolls, low and behold. Know who's the illest ever, like the greatest story told. Keep your glory gold and glitter. For half of his niggas to take him out the picture. The other half is rich and it don't mean villain, a mixture between both with a twist of liquor, chase it with more beer, tasting like truth for dear. When he at the mic, it's like the place get like, oh yeah, it's like they know what's about to happen. Just keep your eye out like I capping. Is he still a fly guy clapping if nobody ain't hear it? And can they testify from in the spirit? And living the true gods, giving y'all nothing but the lick like two broads. Got more lyrics than the church got ooh lords, and they hold the mic in your attention like two swords. Or either one with two blades on it. Hey you, don't touch the mic like it's AIDS on it. Yeah, it's like the end to the means. Fuck type of message that sends to the fiends. That's why he bring his own needles and get more cheese than Doritos, Cheetos, or Fritos. Slip like Freudian, your first and last step to playing yourself like accordion. When he at the mic, you don't go next. Leaving pussycats like why hoes need Kotex. Exercise index won't need Bowflex and won't take the one with no skinny legs like Joe Tex.
All right, just a little bit of that. Okay, where should we go now? Let's check out. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's kind of similar. Here's and we're not gonna. We might not listen to all this, but this is Tigran Hamasyan on accordion and some synthesizer stuff. So it's a transcription from the Bird of a Thousand Voices album. I'm not sure. I didn't Google that. The Bird of a Thousand Voices. Cool. All right, so here we go. And the performer is Charles Keeney. Start there. So we'll pause on that sort of there, but just thought it was very cool. Let's check out some more of Charles's YouTube channel. Let's see. Let's check out a Kraz Phonics a little bit. So beautiful. Small diaphragm condenser mics. All right, we'll sort of pause it there, check out some other stuff. Very cool to know more about this musician, Charles or Charles. I don't know. It says it's also in French language, this website, so I don't know if he's French or not, but living in London, says, and I think graduate of, what did this say? The Paris National Music Conservatoire. Cool. Very cool. You know, we just love to find out what the younger generation is up to. Cool. So here, let's go a different direction. Let's go to, let's see. Let's check out some people jamming some chamamé. there's another video. So here, okay, let's do some of the news stuff that I was gonna do. So there's a I wonder how many people out there watching know about this already. I'm sure some of you do. Music notation programs. The notation program is like an app on your computer application where you can put in the notes, on the staff, and then you can like do a lot of stuff with it. You can print it, you can send it, you can, it's a word processor for music essentially. And like the one of the oldest ones that's been an industry leader for a long time, not so much these days, but it's called Finale. And just a couple weeks ago, they started announcing that they're closing down, which is like, well, kind of big news because it's like it's a big major thing. And I found a video talking about it. This guy telling some like the inside story about it. I started getting these emails about Finale. I used Finale, for a while, probably until MuseScore, I think. Maybe until about 10 years ago, I think I used Finale. And it's because that's what I was taught in school when I went to school in Los Angeles for music. We had our music technology class. Man, that was a long time ago. And we learned Finale on that. And anyway, so I just wanted to watch a little bit of this because it's like kind of a big deal. I think it's a statement of the industry, of where we're at. I use one that's called MuseScore that's totally free. I think its quality has gotten a little bit less as they've tried to add a lot more features and stuff. But I still use it, and it does enough for me. But I don't do like orchestras and all that sort of stuff. Very, very small. Yeah, Nomad's Farmer says that they've been open source since then. Yeah. I think the MuseScore model is a little opaque. I've heard some stuff where like, what they said they were going to do, and then like they kind of have like the community sourced open source aspects of that. But then there's another part. There is a business built where people are trying to make money off of MuseScore, and they charge these subscriptions and stuff like that. And I think a lot of the development, I don't think people get paid for that. So there's a little bit of like ethical, like whatever going on. But regardless, it's free. So MuseScore is the one I suggest for everybody. And it works very similar to Finale. And then there are a few others. So here, let's check out a little bit of this video from this guy, David Doss, talking about Finale and its ending.
There's no way to avoid the pun. It is the finale of Finale. Or, if you prefer, it's the coda to Finale, given that Coda Music was the original creator of Finale. Finale has been a flagship music notation software program ever since the early 1990s. And the recent announcement by its current owners, Make Music, to completely discontinue Finale and offer very little in the way of ongoing support, has a lot of users up in arms. Now, I'm a former Finale user myself. I used Finale throughout the 1990s and the 2000s. Then, in the early 2010s, I migrated to Sibelius, which was first made by some indie software developers in England, then in a bizarre sequence of events was acquired by Avid, who promptly fired the British software development team and outsourced programming to the Ukraine for financial reasons, which led to the massive German media company Steinberg hiring those ex-Sibelius programmers to create a brand new music notation program called Dorico. And now in the past few years, we've seen the rise of a brand new notation program, MuseScore, which has a completely different business model and approach, but is making some rapid headways into this music notation scene. So what are we composers meant to do with all these changing tides? I have a lot of opinions and experience in this area, so I figured I'd sit down and talk about this a little bit. First, I want to talk about the future of Finale itself. As I mentioned before, Finale was created in the 1990s, and it also underwent a few different sales from company to company. This led it to have a pretty checkered history in its development. New teams would come on board, bugs wouldn't be fixed, new bugs would be introduced, and the overall program just grew in complexity because the code base was so old. So the programming team just kept putting band-aids upon band-aids upon band-aids. So while the program itself was a market leader and many top composers and engraving houses used it, it was a very complicated thing for each of its owners to maintain. Now, I think it's pretty telling that Make Music didn't sell Finale to another company, and that should tell us something really big about the situation. The bottom line is there is almost no money left to be made in Finale, because the bones of music notation, the things that 99.9% of people use it for, Finale could do that 20 years ago, and all of its competitors can also do it. So it's not the kind of situation where you can just keep adding features, because the vast majority of the users just need it for its core functionality. So Clearly, they decided to completely discontinue it. Now, in their announcement, which really frazzled a lot of people, they appear to have made some behind-the-scenes deal with Steinberg, so registered Finale users can cross-grade to Dorico for a relatively low price. This is a good option for ex-Finale users, but I have a couple more things to add, which I'm going to get to in a minute. The one caveat that every Finale user should know is that as of today, it is not possible to literally open a Finale file in Dorico or any other program. I have a personal hunch that this might happen, but it will only happen in limited ways. Let me put it this way. Clearly, Make Music has made a little bit of an alliance with Steinberg's Dorico team, because they're endorsing it as much as a political candidate drops out of a race and endorses.
All right, that's kind of enough. So Dorico is like the newest, I would say, like big, what do you call it? Notation program. I did download it and try it, but I was like, I don't. MuseScore is enough for me. So that's kind of latest, is like they're trying to teach people, to get people to change over to Dorico. And I know somebody that takes accordion lessons from me who has been using Finale since the 90s and like knows it inside and out and like has decades and decades of, vocal arrangements and orchestra all kinds of stuff there, And there's lots of people. This was really used in, very industry level thing. It's got to be a big pain in the ass for everybody. Anyway, that's just some interesting news, I feel like. And then the other interesting news, I haven't watched this video yet, but there is a new digital accordion out, which I am not a digital accordion person at all. But it's at least newsworthy, so I thought we should check it out. So Korg, the electronic music company, Korg has a new accordion out. Let's check them out. It's called the Fisa Suprema. Now, already, I don't like the sound, but hey, this is my live stream, so I get to give you my opinion of it. But it sounds digital. Like, I don't know. Why? So you can swap out stuff. You can put your little things. It looks really, really similar to the Roland with the little screen there. All right, so we have a master bar. We have an accelerometer, which I guess the accelerometer is how they measure the wind pressure, I guess. I don't know that for a fact. Chin switches, and then touch sensors, which maybe means, the harder or faster you play it, the you can get different effects, right? Like a piano, like a keyboard, touch sensitive keyboard. If you press the key harder on the keyboard, it's gonna make it louder. Okay, so there you go. That's that. I know, like, the very first, let's see. We watched Mary Mexicano here. So he's got MIDI in that thing. I was hoping to catch, I know, like, a lot of the La Taresca, a lot of times you see these musicians playing on digital accordions. Like, a lot of times when I look at Yannicka Manuna videos, he's playing on a digital accordion. That reminds me, I think there was a cool one from last week that we didn't get to. So anyway, digital accordions. There you go. There's some latest news. Let's listen to some more music. Let's see. Let's check out how about this one? troglodytes. Reminds me a little bit of Accordion Tribe, just in like, I mean, the fact that it's like sort of European. You got like what, 4 or 5 accordion players, and this very like like a minimalism sort of a thing, I guess, which is not all of Accordion Tribe, but certainly some of it is. Very cool. And this Hervé is one of the dudes starting it is a guy that we've watched on the stream before, Hervé Capel. Okay, cool. Here. So, yeah, quarter till. Wow, time flies, huh? So let's check out some Clayton Gamma. It's always a hit. Sorry, there's an intro. This is a really cool intro. Eu hei de ver você bater em minha porta. É sempre assim que por último ri melhor. É sempre assim, o mundo vai dar muitas voltas. Talvez em uma dessas você vá me encontrar. Assim que acabo com a minha. This is the one I wanted to hear.
Você faz de mim neném, você me botar no colo e dá tudo que eu quero, cuida bem do que é seu. Você faz de mim neném, me cobrindo de carinho, sou igual a um passarinho que tua gaiola me prender. Vou gritar pra todo mundo, porque ela nasceu um neném bonitinho, safadinho, sem vergonha como eu. Neném bonitinho, safadinho, sem vergonha como eu. Você faz de mim neném quando a gente está na cama. Você fala que me ama e diz que tudo aquilo é meu. Você faz de mim neném, molequinho tão dengoso. E eu fico curioso, porque você me prometeu. Vem pra nossa casa, fazer o negócio, ser bom neném, bonitinho, safadinho, sem vergonha como
Little multi-track accordion. That's fun when the vocals come in. Clayton releases a lot of stuff online. It's great, very regular. Thanks, Clayton. Oh yeah, what else? Okay, cool. So yeah. Now there's like other stuff that I want to make sure we get to. So let's see. Let's do. There's another video with this band. Let's see. Here. The orchestra Asymptomatica. And the world known concert guitarist Yamandu. And so we watched one of these last week. And here's another video that was released in between last week's live stream and today. I feel like the bandoneon player looks a lot like Zach Galifianakis. So good. Okay. So maybe the final thing that we'll check out is I think I was calling this like Legend or something before. I just forgot. It's called Eternal. And this is a piece from July from the ATG Festival Orchestra. This was my favorite piece. I found it to be the most interesting, and I just liked it the most. So it wasn't put up originally, I guess. I didn't realize that there was all these cameras, like there's different angles and stuff, so I assume that they were just editing it together, taking the time to edit it. So it's 6 minutes and 42 seconds. The things that I find are interesting about it, I thought that it develops into these it has this sort of characteristic where it develops into these different sections very quickly, but it doesn't feel rushed. Just like all of a sudden, we've changed and changed again, and then really early after the little introduction, that it breaks down into this almost, it's like it's a polyphonic. It's not quite a canon, but it's kind of like a canon. And it's sophisticated, so it deliberately messes up the time. It doesn't mess up the time, but it plays with where the listener's feeling and understanding of the timing is. It's cool. And then and it's I forget, 3 or 4 accordions. I think 4 accordions kind of join. Somebody says, the subject is stated, and then it comes back in another instrument, transposed, so it's a harmony, and then another instrument comes in, and then another one. And then after that part happens, then the whole orchestra comes in again, and then it gets, I guess about the second half of the song is with the entire orchestra. And this is composed by Ian Watson, who I think he's an English person, I guess, because when I Google him, there's the London Accordion Orchestra or something comes up, and some more pieces by him. So here we go. I hope you can hear this. Like a minor 5 almost. All right. Well, that was called Legend. Let's see. All right, everybody. So that takes us. Yeah, that's sorry, I'm getting a phone call, and I'm like, I should probably answer that, but I'll see what voicemail message they left. Thank you all. This is the end of another live stream here. They're always different, but always the same. I hope my town doesn't burn down by the time I see you guys next week. Also, I will have, let's see, I'm going to go up and spread my dad's ashes. And actually, my aunt was like, why don't you spread some of your mom's ashes too so they can be together because they loved each other. I'm going to do that up at the top of the mountain. And it should be a little bit of it's like 10,000 feet. More than 10,000 feet is the summit. And I think we're going to camp around 9,000 feet or something. We'll stay overnight. So we'll have to pack in with all this stuff, bunch of water and a little bit of food and stuff. Anyway, that's going to be fun this weekend. And I've been going out and doing like stuff. Like last night here in Joshua Tree, there's a little recording studio that has a jam session. So I went up and checked that out, and that was really cool. Met a bunch of people, and it's really a lot of like singer-songwriters. Like a lot of people out here like are doing their singer-songwriter thing, writing their own music. Not really hardly any jazz culture or community or like world musics and like none of that. But that's really cool too. So as I've been working on my voice, it's just cool to hear all these like different genres and stuff. But there's so much music to be had, and I'm finding that really helpful. And like Sunday night, I went to the open mic also at the little local Italian restaurant. And Sunday during the day, I played the San Diego Accordion Club, which was really, really great. Awesome people, awesome club. And I played a full, I don't know, close to an hour set, and pretty proud of it. So that was fun. I look forward to seeing all of you guys next week. And feel free to hit me up, Dallas at Rising Read, if you have any questions about like instructional materials or courses or lessons or anything. And just a reminder, you can always send me some YouTube videos too. Like, I know you're all out there listening to cool music. Share them with me. So take care, everybody. Be healthy.